Okay, welcome back. Part 3 with regards to solving the standard 3x3 Rubik's Cube. So real quick review again. So we have a mixed up cube. So first step, pardon me, is solving the white cross. Okay, so looking for our white edges. Okay, so I'm trying to go maybe a little bit slower here so you guys can rewind if you're seeing sequences that you want to pay attention to. But again, I've laid out all the steps you need. You guys do this enough, you'll start making your own kind of connections with regards to generally how some things work, especially some of the easier sequences and things like that. Okay, so there's our step 1 where we have our white cross. Okay, first video, second video, we talked about getting the corners up. Okay, so there's one corner. So generally we're playing around with corners that have white on them that are on the bottom. They're easiest to move around. Okay, so we have this sequence, which I only showed once in the last video, so I'll show it again here. So we're going to do our bottom counterclockwise, right face counterclockwise. Okay, bottom clockwise, right clockwise, and that will... if I'm paying attention, it's not on the right face. Let's try this again. Red and blue here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So in this case, this sequence, so this is directly beneath where it has to go. The white face is on the right-hand side. So in this case, okay, right-hand side here. So this is our front face. So take our right side counterclockwise, bottom counterclockwise, right face clockwise, and it brings it up. Okay, so again, easiest thing to do is if it's up at the top is to bring it down at the bottom first. So we're just going to take, rotate, okay, rotate it one way just to get this off of this face here that we rotated. So we rotated the right face. So let's just rotate this once to get it out of the way. Okay, now put it back. So this is where it needs to go. And once again, it's on the right hand side. Okay, so same sequence brings it back up. And then lastly, our last piece here, which is here. The direct sequence from the bottom, which I screwed up in the last video, I know. So in this case, so it's on the bottom here. Okay, so using the blue face in this example, anyways. Okay, as my front face, I'm going to go right counterclockwise, bottom. I think I did double last time. That was a problem. I just want to do right now. I just want to do bottom single. Okay, so that would be bottom clockwise. Okay, then right face clockwise. Then I take my front face clockwise, bottom double. Okay, now it brings it in. Now I take my front face and I go counterclockwise to bring it back up. So there we go. First two videos with regards to the top. Okay, or the first layer, top face, white face, whatever you want to call it. So now what we're going to look at is these edges. Okay, the middle layer, the edges. Okay. So now, in this case, we've lucked out that we have one edge that's already correctly positioned and orientated. Okay, so once again, we're going to be using our bottom layer to be muling the pieces around, to moving them around to wherever they need to go. Okay, so here, looking at this one, so we have the orange and blue. Okay, so what I want to do is whatever color I see here, is that I want to rotate it until it's on that face. Okay, so we see the orange face is over here. So I'm going to take my bottom and I'm just going to rotate it once. Okay, so there it is. So now ultimately this piece, this edge piece, needs to get right here. Okay, so we need to take this and get it up to there. Now what this is, the sequence, this is one of our first kind of bigger sequences, if you will. Everything else has been somewhat intuitive, only a few turn sequences, this and that, to do the whole top layer. The second layer here it's an 8-move sequence. Okay, so from this point, so we've lined up orange and we have blue. So we know that this piece wants to go here. Now what I try to do with this is I try to, instead of making the sequences using so many faces, what I do is for the first half of the sequence, I consider the orange face to be my front face. Okay, and then for the second 4 moves, I consider the blue face to be my front face. Now why that is because the moves that you do basically become symmetric, okay, along this edge right here. Okay. Now it might take you a little bit to get this, but once you do, I definitely find that it's an easier thing to do to be able to orientate these edges. Okay, so what we do, so we have orange on the orange face and blue here. Okay, so what we again, what we need to do is get this up to here. So the first move is whatever color we see here, okay, so in this case it's blue, we turn the bottom face away from that color. So what I mean by that is the blue's here and the blue has to go over here. So we're going to take our bottom face and we're going to rotate it away. Okay. So again, what that actually is it would be the bottom face clockwise. Okay, but I call it away with respect to this whole edge of the cube. Okay. So away. Then what we do is we take the edge here. Okay, we take this face that is on that edge and we rotate it down. Okay, so in this case it would be your left face clockwise. Okay, and now what we do is we basically just do the opposite of the first two moves that we did. Okay, so the first move we did bottom away. So what do you think the next one's going to be? Well, obviously bottom towards. Okay, so bring the bottom back. Okay, and then the second move was the left face down. Okay, so the fourth move is going to be the left face up. Okay, so again, it's pretty. A lot of the patterns you see are pretty not symmetric like that, but sequential like that. So it's like bottom left, left bottom. Or did I say that right? Left bottom, but just different rotations. Okay, so those are our first four moves. Now what we do is we rotate the cube. Okay, so now the blue face. So this is again our edge that's of interest. Okay, don't really worry about where the piece is right now. It's in here somewhere. Okay, now what it is it's the same set of moves with the exact same logic, if you will, with respect to this face. So it's bottom away. Okay, now it's this edge, so it's the face that contains that edge. So it's this face, in this case it's our right face. Okay, down. So again, politically correct, it should have been bottom in this case with the, now that I'm on the blue face, it should be bottom counterclockwise. Okay, right face counterclockwise, and then once again we just repeat the moves but in the opposite way. So instead of bottom away, we do bottom towards or bottom clockwise. And then what we do is we take the right face in this case and we go clockwise as well. So now you can see that we still, so ignoring everything right now, these edges, we still look at our top layer, everything's still good. And what you'll see now is this orange blue piece, okay, which we started off with down here, is now orientated and positioned correctly. Okay, so that's it. So I know it's maybe not so sequential as you might see some other guys where it's, right positive, left negative, bottom, double, this and that. I try to be a little bit more intuitive, things that you guys can remember, hopefully a little bit easier than these big long sequences. And we do have enough ugly sequences coming up with solving the bottom face. Okay, but so far the sequences aren't too involved with regards to solving the first and second layers. Okay, so it's the exact same thing, so let's just pick another piece. So we lucked out with the orange-green being correct. So let's just look around at the bottom for a piece that, if you always solve it with the white as the top, you're looking for pieces, edge pieces here that don't have yellow on them. Okay, so we can see here, hopefully the camera picks it up, so we have yellow here, so we're not going to be playing with this one. Yellow here, yellow here. Okay, this is the only piece that we have on the bottom right now that doesn't have any yellow in it. And why I say we don't want yellow is because obviously none of these edge pieces are going to have yellow in them. Okay, so right now our only other piece that we can do or play with is the red-blue. Okay, and as I'm looking at this, we're going to have a situation here because this edge piece is positioned correctly. It's where it's supposed to be, but it needs to be orientated. So we'll deal with that one next. But again, right now we have red-blue. Okay, so let's just say that the red-blue piece. Red-blue edge piece, pardon me, was here. So again, the first step is, so this is red, we want to move this to its own face. So we're going to move it to line up red and red. So once again, we look at what the bottom face is. So it's blue. Now we want to start our rotation, or we're basically going to define the edge. So it's either are we using this edge or are we using this edge? Okay, so now in this case, which actually works out well because in the last example I did, we used this edge as our reference. So in this case, it's over here because the blue and the blue face is over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, here we go. So here's our edge. So in this case, we're going to do 4 moves with the red face as our front face, and then 4 moves with the blue face as our front face. And this will position and orientate this edge piece to its correct position and orientation. So away we go. Okay, so here we go. So using my my terminology for these pieces, which is away and down and up and back and things like that. Okay, so we're going to take our bottom and we're going to move it away from our reference edge. So away. Okay, now again, the face that contains the edge, okay, which is in this case it's going to be our right, is down. Okay, so it's always away, down. Okay, and then the bottom, if you want to call it towards or back. Okay, bottom back to where it was, and then the right face back to where it was or up. Okay, so those are the first 4 moves, and then we rotate to our blue face, and we do the exact same thing. So it's always bottom away. Okay, so in this case, with respect to this edge, bottom away from this edge would be this rotation. Left face now, because our left face is the one that contains our edge of interest, down. Okay, bottom back, and then left face back. And you can see now that we have successfully orientated and positioned our blue-red piece. Okay, so we're almost there. We got 3 of the 4. Thankfully, one was lucky. Our last one here. So again, this is positioned but not orientated. So once again, I could give you guys direct sequencing for how do you take this piece and just simply orientate it or flip it around. But what we're going to do is use the tools that we have already. Okay. So what we're going to do here, so in its place first, we're just going to take one of these edge pieces that have yellow, which is right now all of our bottom pieces have yellow. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this piece into this position, which is then in turn is going to bring this piece down to the bottom, which then we know how to solve it if it's down in the bottom. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, doesn't matter which one I want to use. Okay, so I'm just going to simply take this one and I'm simply just going to do the sequence. Okay, so in this case I'm just going to consider this as my reference edge. So it's always going to be bottom away, okay, this face down, bottom towards, and this face back up. So that's the first 4. I flip over to my second face, and again it's the same thing, away, down, back, and back up. Okay, so now what that's done is, again, it's taken this piece and put it up here. But what it's done in turn, though, is it's taken, it'll be over here on the opposite face, it's taken this piece and brought it down to the bottom. So now we can simply do what we know how to do. So we can simply position it, okay, green and green, so it's red. Okay, so our red face is over here, so this is going to be our reference edge. And it's the same sequence, so down, down, or whatever I said there, up, back up, flip over to the other face, and it's the same sequence. And there we have it. We have our second layer completed.